Welcome back to Expedition Performance with On the Run. Today we're at Mitchell Park and we're going to run in some trails, on some boardwalk, and around the quarry. Let's get at it. For a walk. You got it? There we go. Let's go. I'm rolling, right?
You're rolling, you're rolling.
We're rolling.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, watch that.
Let's go deep.
Left or right?
Right.
Right.
Awesome.
Come on.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy. There you go.
That's cool.
It will be pretty cool, I think.
Sure, game on.
Some grass. Just a little trail, like I said. Just a little trail.
I never ran cross country.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
never ran cross country, huh? You got some marks still from when they did cross country here. Yeah,
it's
they
wild.
Some meets. So
you know, I sometimes think about that though, like, because I never ran long distance in high school. Kind of nice that like running is a new sport for me, you know?
Yeah, a different experience.
Yeah, like had I run in high school, would I gotten burned out?
Right.
I wonder that sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of runners end up having that time where they step away for a little bit because they do get burned out. They get a little bored with it, and then they focus on other stuff, and that's fine, though, right? Because you never know what other interests might be out there.
Oh yeah. It always comes back around. Well, I started running by accident. Well, by injury, rather.
By injury?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, in high school, I had that shoulder injury playing football, and because I couldn't weight train, I started running to fill the void, you know?
To fill the void?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah?
Well, actually, running first started because when I was in high school, I pitched as a pitcher for baseball. And I read some article on ESPN about some pitcher in MLB. I don't know who it was even. He would run a mile after pitching outings. Yeah. For recovery. Okay. And I was like, well, I want to throw harder.
Oh, I don't know if I can run a mile.
I know, right?
But a whole mile? Oh, man.
But I started running those miles and got faster eventually. And I always had good endurance, though. Like, even in football conditioning, I always had upper leg on people. But yeah, I started in baseball, and then my senior year, I had that shoulder injury and couldn't grab a squat bar, couldn't bench press. Couldn't do a lot, but I could still run.
Sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, mine was as a freshman in high school, running track, not cross country, but track. I was a soccer player at the time, and I wanted to condition. Once again, right? I feel like so many people, they start off as conditioning before they really get into the sport of it. And then I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Made a ton of friends, great people, and I decided to do cross country that fall then, coming in as a sophomore, so I was a bit behind. Definitely. Really? Yeah. I was definitely behind. I mean, I think my first 5K that summer, like tune-up, but in like early August, I want to say I ran 24 minutes, like 24:30, which is, I mean, pretty awful. That's pretty awful.
Oh, your first one, I mean.
Exactly. But it was pretty funny. It wasn't great.
Long distance running is so different than, are we going?
Yeah, we'll go on the grass. We'll go grass.
It's so different than soccer. Like Elise, you know? My wife, she played soccer her entire life. And she talks about how, yeah, she could run all over the field, but the second she tried to run a mile, it was just nuts.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny because I remember growing up as a soccer player, there was always, there's always a comparison in sports and which the harder sport. And I remember soccer players, big dip, soccer players saying, you know, pros, they run 9 miles per game or 12 miles per game.
Is it that far?
Supposedly.
Wow.
I've never like actually delved into it, but you would hear that and you're like, okay, well, it's a 90-minute game, I believe, not including, you know, stoppage time or anything weird. So it's like, okay, let's say 9 miles, 90-minute game for a midfielder. 10-minute miles, okay.
Yeah.
Like obviously keeper's not running that much,
Yeah.
but like, you know, whatever.
Well, it's sprinting, walking, jogging,
Yeah,
all the above, really.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's just funny how, exactly, it's it's always interval training though, right? But what do people go for? They don't talk about the sprinting. They go, oh, it's all about the volume, right? It's always distance that people want.
Left, right, straight.
We go right.
Winter runs. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when you run in the cold, my face gets so cold, and it's hard to talk.
I prefer winter training though.
Oh gosh.
I do. Yeah, as you
It's
know
so
from how
different.
this went for me this fall with marathon, I like the cold weather. I don't like the warm weather very much.
Oh man. I was just ringing Ryan on Wednesday,
Yeah.
talking about how hot. Oh no, sorry. Well, I haven't talked to Ryan about that, but I heard the buddy last night from work. We talked about how hot this summer was. The mornings are so humid.
Yes, right?
Man,
well,
oh man.
well, even now, mid-December, 40 out in the morning.
Yeah.
It's very warm. It's supposedly an El Nino year, right? So it just makes it a little bit warmer, which is nice for this winter training. But that's why, you know, that's why I'm planning on doing, hopefully, a May, early June marathon, because then we get the good weather, the relatively mild spring weather
seriously.
to train, rather than having to train through summer again.
Are you still thinking Wisconsin?
Well, I hope so. But
Yeah, I was looking at
That's
Wisconsin, but it's the week after we are at a destination wedding,
okay,
so
yeah.
that might not be the best.
No, maybe the half. Like if
Yeah.
you really want to do something for it, you could come out and do a half, because that'll be 3 to 4 weeks before
Yeah,
what you, yeah, right? So that would be a good, if you want to do something fun and get out and do it, just because that's a great half course. That's a super fun half
Oh yeah, I remember.
marathon course. Yeah.
Circa 17, 18.
Yeah, what, yeah, right? When was that?
Dang.
We were last there, huh?
All right, go for it.
Yeah, let's shoot it.
Yeah, Wisconsin marathon. That was my fastest half for the
Yeah.
longest time.
Yeah, mine too. That's where mine is. That is my fastest. That's my personal record. It's sitting there. Yeah, so because that was 2 years ago that I ran the full, and I think the course is going to be the same. And 2-loop course, pretty straightforward. Pretty good time of the year. They're not expecting to get absolutely hit by wind or cold off the lake.
It was windy when
Yeah.
we ran it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I've talked about how I like turkey trots, but yeah, the turkey trot there, end of November, windy off the lake. It is cold. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. The only other one that was really was colder was doing the same thing, turkey trot Sheboygan, because it's a 1.5 miles north, but it's exactly on the lake again.
The coldest run I've ever done was back in undergrad. I did I think it was called the Jingle Bell 5K.
Sure.
But it was a 5K around campus, around Eau Claire. Oh, it must have been like early December. I remember I ran it. No gloves on. I think it was like 5 degrees.
Yeah.
And then 2 things happened. Number 1, it was cold, windy, but then I was out and back. I strode kind of like this, so it was not too wide. And I came around a corner, and there's a group of people just like taking up the entire path here. And I tried to stop, hit a batch of ice, and just completely slid out and
Yeah.
fell on my face.
Oh my gosh.
Scraped up everything. Got back up. Still took 3rd.
Still took, because everyone else fell on that part
Yeah,
too.
pretty much.
I assume, right?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I look back at all those like non-competitive running years, just like being ran on 5Ks, and it's like, yeah, went pretty quick.
Sure.
Probably should have ran in high school.
Probably should have ran it. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
Well, what's the saying? The best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best time to plant a tree is today. Right? You got to start somewhere, and I don't think there's a such thing as lost time. It's just choosing to begin. Because if you delay any further, well, of course you're gonna lose out more opportunity at that point.
Yeah. Well, then again, I think about that. Like, had a big group here, had I ran
The team
back in those days,
yes,
probably wouldn't want to do it now. I think it was a Bash 9 guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Man. So that just connects out to head back into the neighborhood. We'll stick around, and like I said, this is kind of, as we get to the far side of the quarry, kind of at the halfway point then.
Cool. Got about, 1.5.
Yeah, yep, right, exactly. Nothing too crazy, not super long. Just a nice route.
There's so many of these cool parks, trails in Wisconsin, around Milwaukee, that you just never know about it, It's so sick.
Yep. So I wish they would all connect together, is the thing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
If they, I feel like everything's so sporadic, it's so broken up,
Yeah, that's tough.
which has its own issues then. We're trying to get everything together. Like, you feel like you can't do a long run sometimes. And you just gotta, but small ones, quick batches, it's fun. It's good. You get a good time around.
Well, Oakley's, man. Got that.
You say the Oakley?
That 31 mile.
Yeah, Hank Aaron trail.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
That was a good time.
Yeah, that is a good time.
The slash was kind of hard.
Yeah, how'd you feel after 31? You never even told me on whether you were sore or not.
Honestly, I wasn't very sore at all.
Yeah, felt good?
Yeah, felt pretty good.
Felt good? Cool.
Now, in the moment after it, I was pretty tired, but like,
Sure.
next day was fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I didn't deload too much that next week.
Yeah.
Like
Well, you did it smart though, right? Is you truly went long run pace.
8:30, 8:50.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you allowed yourself, what'd you run several weeks beforehand? You ran at
What did I run? 7:30?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like 5 more miles, but a minute plus slower allowed you to completely grade it out.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
figure out what you could handle appropriately.
Well, what I did wrong actually, I'm gonna adjust this a little bit here, was I ate too much at mile 20. So at 20, I had a banana and a Lara bar, and then like it wasn't Gatorade, but it was like
Go check it out.
some kind of. I can go left hand.
Yeah. Oh, you want to do lefty?
Yeah, I can go lefty.
Lefty.
Feels different.
Yeah.
Excuse us.
Sir. Hopefully.
Oh, that's cool. See that?
Yeah, right?
Globes?
It's
Yeah.
nice. This is a really nice little setup that they got here at this park. This park is packed in the summertime.
Oh man, I was at
The beach that we're coming up on.
Yeah,
You
totally.
can also swim with your dogs here. Yeah, this is a absolutely packed park at the other times though. How we looking? We filming?
Yeah, we're blinking. We're blinking. Yeah, we're going here.
We got it. Yeah, there we go. See? Whatever. It's all good. We're blinking. There it is.
Oh, that pavilion's cool.
Yeah, so you'll see it's beautiful. Yeah, this is awesome. It's a great setup. Like I said, here's the dog area that they have.
Nice.
If you're gonna go off. Yep. It's awesome. It's a nice park. Alright, so now that we're running. I should probably do intros a little bit, right?
Oh yeah,
So yeah, I'm Robert Meilbeck, physical therapist, co-owner of Expedition Performance and EP Running.
And I'm Luke Menges, also a physical therapist, also a co-owner. Oh, we go left here?
We go left here.
Okay, also a co-owner of Expedition Performance.
So we were talking earlier about what we're thinking for some races and schedule. What are you going to do different for training compared to your last bout? I feel like you're ready for more mileage, more volume for some reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the challenging thing was I wanted to do more mileage, but left. Right. Okay. Oh, I'm confused.
And we're gonna cut across towards the right.
Running into a building. Okay.
We go past the.
Okay.
We go past the
Cool.
beach.
Got it.
All right. So what's the plan for training for the next one?
We'll switcheroo here from this side. There we go. Yeah, more mileage.
How much more? Like, what were you hitting? What was your average, do you think, for the last one?
Honestly, 25 a week, max maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing was,
man, got it done, man.
Well, I was also walking a lot.
How much was a lot? How much was walking, right?
At least 2 miles.
I know you love that, right?
2 miles a day when I wasn't running.
Okay.
At least.
So total time on feet.
It was still a half an hour-ish.
Exactly. Yeah. Plus all time running. We'll go left. We head home.
But the challenge was, I just couldn't get the volume up, the frequency rather. So I'd add another day in, and then the knee would act up, the foot would act up, the hip would act up, and I think I just needed more time. Alright, now we're clear. So as I was saying, before the train, so nice to interrupt this. No, just kidding. The train's cool. But because this is really only my second year actually running for distance. I mean, I've always run for exercise, you know, 1 run a week maybe.
Sure.
But I've never built volume like this before. So I think these first 2 seasons, season 1, I got to twice a week. And then 3 days a week was getting me. This last season, I got 3 days a week, and then 4 days were getting me. But now I'm starting to build up to 3, 4, 5 runs a week sometimes, and the body's handling it. So I think the big piece was just building more endurance, building more capacity.
Yeah.
And that took years, you know? And
like you like to say, structural capacity, tissue
exactly.
capacity, right? Because that's the difference, I think, for some people versus others who become runners, especially trying to go into longer distances. Some people get away with it from straight athleticism.
Yeah.
And I think you have a lot of athleticism. You always have because you're very active. And then it was just switching gears.
Yeah.
But
well, it was just getting the body used to, on your left here, getting the body used to more volume. I mean, going from my usual 5-6 mile runs a max once a week to doing several of those.
Yeah.
Going from 6 miles a week to 20 to 30, you know, that was a big jump if you look about that. So.
Yeah. And so I think for the average person, the person who is kind of doing more like the couch to 5K or just average person to athlete, that's what they have to do first. Is they have to develop themselves in a wise method. Let's go left through grass again. Yeah. In a wise manner that allows them to be healthy, build muscle, build tendon strength, build bone strength, and then become a runner. Where a lot of people go just straight for that runner component, and it's just not practical without expecting injury.
Oh yeah, man, it takes so much time. I mean, I think back to when I first got back into running, I think about a year off. I had a snowboarding injury, hurt my heel, and couldn't run a whole lot after that.
Yeah.
But the year I got back into running was, I think, February 21.
Sure.
And it took I started legit with a run walk program. Like 30 seconds running, 60 seconds running, 1 minute walking. And I went from 5 to 10 to 15 over like 1-2 weeks.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then from there, I got back into running like 2 miles and then 3 miles. And like, remember that first time I ran 5 miles and I was like, oh man, that's a long way to go. And holy cow, it was so sore after.
Sure.
But that took months.
Yeah,
Just
let's
that
go
initial
left.
mileage,
Let's go
yeah.
left. Let's take this little detour. A little detour just towards the river.
That being said, yeah, man, it just takes so much time. You gotta be patient.
Yeah. I think the patience is the biggest part. I think people love to go for the big races, take a right.
Yeah.
And practically speaking, you got to respect it and you got to go for the little races first and then go from there.
Oh,
This doesn't go through.
oh, okay.
Shoot, turn around.
Twisty turn.
Woo! Woo! Huh, sorry, the other one must go through.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, to that point, I mean.
Yeah, go left then, because we'll
Left.
head back out. Yeah, because we're heading home.
Sure.
I thought this went through. I was confused.
When I think about this upcoming marathon cycle,
We'll go left again.
and like for me, yeah, that starts in late January, February technically, for 4 months out from maritime. And like realistically, it's been the last 2 to 3 years of training I've been preparing for this, you know?
Sure.
Building up mileage. Because I'd like to try and go fairly quick. Maybe approach a 3 hour, sub 3, we'll see.
Yeah. And as you said, I think lifetime mileage matters. Lifetime, not even mileage, you know, we always talk volume. Lifetime experience matters though, in terms of total fitness and how good it's gonna go for a training block.
Yeah.
And people, yeah, you lose a lot if you're injured or you're out for a bit, but there is some of that, you know, quote unquote, muscle memory, where you're able to bounce back a little bit better.
Well, case in point, you were sick last week to.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Mostly fine.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Exactly, right? And we'll stay grass. Because you stay on top of it, you stay active, you maintain your just like baseline health. And the one that I think I'd mentioned to you was exercise minutes per week as a health vital. And then if we start to look at how active are you just during the week, I think that really says the level that someone's ready to take on a different type of challenge.
Well, that's actually coming out now as a true vital sign. Like you look at our health records now, they track activity per week.
Yeah. And once again, it's not necessarily more is better. It's not always more is better.
It's usually more is better.
But it's usually
to an extent.
And exactly,
right?
and especially for a beginner. You have to respect that there is a certain amount of activity that's necessary to hit a threshold that you're able to accomplish something awesome. And you just have to build to that point, and then you can start getting fancy.
Yeah. And also considering that initial build is tough. Like the hardest part is starting. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
And for 2 reasons. Number one, it's painful, both during and after. It's a good little dog.
It's a good dog.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what makes it so nice, but when people start young, high school sports, that team mentality, keeps you anchored. It gives you motivation, and you have resources available. Even at a small high school, you would. But then with running, as long as you're in a decently populated area, there are a ton of clubs, there's a ton of teams, there's a ton of online communities, which help guide and get you to that point of saying like, yeah, I can do this consistently. I can go for solo runs. I'm ready for it.
Oh yeah. Yep. And that's a game changer for me this past year.
Was getting out with other people more?
With you, with Badgerland, with
the summer runs, right, with Badgerland, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, it's twofold. I mean,
hey.
Go. Number one, distance, right? Having the group mentality to go that far, but then also getting pushed appropriately. Like, as hard as it was when I was with you and Ryan, at the end of that, was it a 60-mile backline run? Right, 16.
Yeah, the 16 that turned into a 19.
20.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
He hit some 6:30, 6:15 miles at the end of that, you know?
Sure.
And never in my life would I try that. Oh, where are we going here?
We stay left. We're almost back.
There we go.
I feel like we've done that before.
Oh yeah.
At that run, that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, like, you need that push to discover that next threshold, you know?
Totally.
And, like, that builds so much confidence and speed. Even beyond the physiologic adaptations, just knowing, hey, I could do it.
Absolutely.
Hi.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us on our run today. Please give us a follow at Expedition Performance and also ep.running on Instagram.
Sounds good.